You're listening to the OMG Hour.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 312 of the OMG Hour. We are... Oh, who are we today? I don't know who we are.
Really? You forgot to look it up?
We are the Orange Mango Gargoyles. And, of course, I am one of your hosts, Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane.
And I am Tycko, Mr. Second Place. That sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Sounds good to me.
Like, I would have watched that as a kid.
I think we did watch a Gargoyles show when we were a kid.
But Orange Mango Gargoyles.
The Orange Mango Gargoyles is the next generation version.
Yeah,
of
like
Gargoyles, yes.
It's how you sell more toys. You get the original gray ones, and then you sell the Orange Mango ones.
Exactly.
As like,
yeah. So here we are, the Orange Mango Gargoyles, and welcome to our show.
Yes.
And on today's show, lots of things. So
some things. I mean, don't get people's hopes up saying lots. I mean, there's things.
Orange Mango Gargoyles, brought to you by Coke Zero. I don't know.
And this also zero version of Monster Energy Ultra Red.
Oh, I like Monster Zero. Yeah, that's it's good stuff.
My diabetes has sort of came back a little bit.
It flared up, did it?
It flared up. I had a flare up of the old diabetes, and it's not really that much of a joke. I mean, it's serious. Like, I was feeling like really crappy for a couple of days there. It's because I had gone back to drinking regular pop and stuff like that. So I've gone there. Actually, $1.99 right now at Fortino's.
That's pretty good.
So I bought a bunch of these. And
nobody outside of Hamilton knows what Fortino's is.
Really? That's a Hamilton thing?
Yeah. When I moved here, when I started working here. Hi, Brian. Brian's watching us now.
Hey, Brian. Brian knows what Fortino's is.
No, Brian has no clue because when I started working at BlackBerry, I was eating something, I can't remember what, and someone said, "Hey, where'd you get that?" I said, "I got it from Fortino's." He's like, "What's Fortino's?" And I looked it up. Fortino's started in Hamilton in 1972, and then it went east. It didn't go west, so it went like Fortino's Oakville. I don't even think it's in Toronto. So it's
they have it's Loblaws basically.
It is now. It's owned by Loblaws, but yeah. So
I grew up with Safeway out in BC.
Oh yeah, I know Safeway, but apparently what I thought was a normal grocery store, no one knew what it was. But I grew up with Fortino's. Like, yeah, it was so weird. Anyway, we should do some couch co-op. We should talk about some television. So this is, of course, the first of our two sort of year-end shows, and we're going to be a little less structured than we usually are in our year-end shows. We're just going to have some fun. And this week we want to talk about some of our favorite things that happened this year, our favorite moments in television, and then later on we'll talk about in gaming. But that's sort of where we're going with the shows this week. So I don't know why my recording volume was like way down. So maybe that's better. I hope that's better.
It's better for me. I didn't notice a difference at all. I'm just saying. Nothing at all changed for me.
Excellent. I'd like to hear that. Okay. So yeah. Where do you want to start? This week was it's Elseworlds. Let's start
Elseworlds.
There. Yeah.
So the CW DC Arrowverse shows, they do an annual, as they even joke about it on the shows, the annual team-ups or get-togethers.
Can I start by saying that, yes, they usually do an annual crossover, and last year, for the first time, it was a crossover with all 4 shows, okay? So it was huge, and it was a 4-night event. It was a 2-night event, but 2 shows per night, so 4 episodes.
I think it was 3 the way it was.
It was 2 nights. It
might have been 2 nights. I'm going to debate you on this for at least 30 minutes, and then we came back to the show. No, okay, we're good. Yeah, I'll go with yours.
This year, it was a 3-night event, and Legends of Tomorrow was not part of it at all.
Well, technically, they were part of it because they addressed the fact that they were ducking calls from Oliver and Barry.
So this is what was funny about it. On Legends of Tomorrow, Nathan Hayward walks in and says, is there any messages? He says to Gideon, any messages for us? Why, yes, you missed calls from Barry Allen, Oliver Queen, and Kara Zor-El, and Ray Palmer, who was from Arrow originally. He says, sounds like the annual crossover.
Yeah.
It's like, what? They literally just, like, it was so meta, you know?
Yeah.
The fact that they're not part of it, and they completely address the fact that there's a crossover going on right now.
And they don't have time to deal with it.
And they don't have time. Get it? Time? Because they're a time ship. But I think what's awesome about it is that didn't just leave Legends with just a normal everyday show. Their episode was almost like a crossover with themselves over the past. They kind of did a crossover over the last like 8 episodes of this season. They went back to events that previously happened and changed time completely.
And
almost
over
similar
and
to
and over again.
Yeah, like it was essentially their own Elseworlds show, if you think about it.
It reminded me of the episode of The Simpsons, the Halloween episode of The Simpsons, where Homer keeps going back and forth in time trying to get things because donuts disappeared, and he keeps going back, and then the family's lizards, and
I don't recall that, but
it was such a good episode.
It was really, they created their own Elseworlds story, but within their own show, which I think was great. It was hilarious. It was epic. Like in one version, they were all cursed to be puppets. You know, it was just like, and they set a few of them up to be like these 80s television shows complete with new credit openings.
Custodians of the
custodians of universe
of
chronology, and then the girls were the sirens of space-time, set up to be basically Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
You know, it was so well done and hilarious, and I think it was awesome. So they gave them an epic show at the same time Elseworlds was going on, and then of course there's the Elseworlds that crossed over Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl, and there was a lot going on in these 3 episodes.
There was a lot going on. I mean, they brought in 90s Flash.
Yes, directly from the 90s with John Wesley Shipp, who has been on Flash as Barry's father until now, but this time he actually came as Barry Allen from the 1990s version of Flash. And as you pointed out, he's from Earth 90.
Yes, so the 90s, which was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was a well done show. I'll be honest, good on him. Like that show was like in the 90s. He looks fantastic in the suit still.
He still does. Like, did you notice there was a lot of little one-liners that if you don't kind of pick up on it, they're they're just throwaway lines. There was one line on it when somebody on, I think it was somebody on the Flash said, I think it might have been. I can't remember his name now. Echo Kellum plays him, the black guy with the curly hair.
Mr. Echo.
Mr.
Terrific.
Mr. Terrific, but his character name. He said something. Oh man, it's not even Tuesday yet. Yeah. Because the Flash normally airs on Tuesday, but this was airing on Sunday, and they kind of
on Sunday in order to because they put it out of order in order to be able to tell the story.
So they
normally Supergirl's in that spot.
They usually throw a joke in there. They literally threw a joke in there about it not being Flash's normal night on television. Yeah. By saying, "Oh man, it's not even Tuesday yet." It's like these guys are brilliant writers. It was funny. The whole thing was hilarious when everything started happening. You know, Oliver and Barry basically switched lives. So Oliver Queen was actually Barry Allen, and Barry Allen was Oliver Queen, and it wasn't a body swap.
Yeah, they kept touching on that. It's like it's a Freaky Friday. No,
it's more like Quantum Leap. Yeah, they tried 3 or 4 times.
Like, pop culture reference in as to how this
it happened.
This sets up. Yeah.
So the basic gist was that the Monitor had given a book to John Deegan, a psychology professor, who could essentially rewrite reality as he saw fit.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So interesting too. John Deegan also introduced Arkham Asylum because he's a doctor at Arkham Asylum, which brings us into Gotham as well.
Gotham, and of course the introduction of Supergirl, which, if I may say, was amazing. Sorry, what did I say? Batgirl?
You said Supergirl.
Oh, sorry.
You're way off.
Batwoman. They introduced Batwoman, who was amazing. Like, honestly, I was excited to see, first of all, Kate Kane, who's Ruby Rose. Or should I say it's Ruby Rose as Kate Kane?
Yes.
And then when they introduced her as Batwoman and she came crashing down on that car in very typical Batman fashion.
Yeah,
I'm like,
the superhero landing.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and it looked good. It worked. The costume was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not exactly the way it is in the comics. There's actually more red, like her gauntlets and her boots are red in the comics. In the show, they were black, and it was just red hair and red symbol.
Yeah.
And I think a red belt. But it's fantastic. I think they've done an amazing job, and I really, really hope they greenlight the Batwoman TV show.
I would like to see a season of that. I think that you're going to get enough positive vibes from that, just the being in Gotham.
For sure.
You know, the vibe, the dark. Like, you could even feel like all the scenes in Gotham were at night. It was all dark. It was creepy. Arkham really comes across as sort of almost like a haunted asylum.
A lot of names along the doorways. I saw Poison Ivy. They introduced Nora Freeze. And I think I saw Edward Nigma's name, so the Riddler was in there. There was a couple of names that went by a little too fast, so I didn't quite catch who they were. But they started introducing in those cells, in the names of the doors, all the Batman villains.
Yeah, the Rogues Gallery.
I do love the fact that there was this whole thing with Barry and Oliver about Batman's not real; he's a myth. Like, Arrow wanted to believe he was the first vigilante. Right?
Yeah.
But Barry believes that Batman actually exists, and Oliver thinks Batman's just a myth, and it was actually really hilarious.
Well, they even covered a fun little bit where they said, like, oh, it's interesting that Batman and Bruce Wayne left town at the same time.
Right.
And she covers that off. It's like, yeah, well, the city really went to crap after Batman left, so Bruce hightailed it out of here, too.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on Elseworlds, but one thing I noticed... I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that they didn't forget the stories going on in each of their seasons. They did touch on them and kind of felt like it was still continuing through, but there was this new crisis they all needed to deal with. So I like the fact that it didn't feel like it was standalone, like this little standalone movie that you could take out of.
No.
It felt
the
like
other
it fit.
issues existed, but they had to deal with them because of the body swapping. It would force them into
something else.
Normally, this would have been something like we have to deal with our own stuff first, and then because of the body swapping, it meant they had to deal with that.
Exactly, and I like that
right now. But
I like the fact that all 3 episodes kind of felt like sort of they each had a beginning and an end. And then another beginning, which led into the next, but the same issue was flowing through the whole thing. So it didn't feel like one long movie. It felt like it did still feel like 3 episodes, you know. But each time it got kind of worse and worse. And I don't know if you noticed, but Flash started with the normal Flash intro, normal.
Yes.
And then Arrow aired, but instead of Oliver doing the voiceover and showing him in the scenes, it was Barry Allen, because at that point he was now Oliver Queen. And then Supergirl's opening was done by the fake Superman, I think. Is that right?
Yes, it was because he'd rewritten.
Right, he had rewritten
because he took over her.
That's right.
Her role
on Earth 1, where she doesn't actually exist.
Yeah,
but each episode they progressively changed into the Elseworlds version of that show. And I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I love the little bits where, like, you know, when Oliver Queen is first the Flash and he has to, in the first fight, he yells that you failed this city. And everybody's like, what?
Yes.
And then, like, I just liked how the little bits and pieces and stuff like that they did with, you know, like they did take over their identities. They had to fight as them. And it was a fun episode, but I think it's leading into something really cool as well.
What I thought was really well done is both of them, because both Barry and Oliver on their respective shows are going through, a time.
Yeah.
But I like how both of them helped each other deal with their own issues, you know?
Yeah.
And I hope they continue through with that. Like, Barry basically said to Oliver, you are so angry all the time. You know, they basically, and it is. I've said that about, like, Oliver's always angry. The whole thing about Arrow is he's like always angry. He's like Batman. And I like how they dealt with that, and I'm wondering if there's going to be some repercussions to this going forward. And I hope there is.
There clearly will. I mean, Oliver and Felicity's relationship was tested even further by them not revealing the swap originally, which caused her, to be upset and to find out that, we
don't trust each other.
Yeah. And the fact that like Iris and Flash, like, you told her. It's like, well, yeah, she sort of figured it out right away.
And Iris figured it out exactly. So it tested the relationship. I liked that. I hope that has repercussions going forward. Now, the only last thing I want to say, I enjoyed the series. I'll always love the crossovers. But what I felt was in this particular story, even when it's done, I don't understand why this was happening in the first place. I don't understand the Monitor's purpose of giving the book to John Deegan in order to rewrite reality. And they kept referencing the coming crisis. I don't know if you counted, but they said the word crisis like 50 million times in this crossover, right? They kept saying crisis, the coming crisis.
They said it infinitely, you mean?
Infinite, that's right. So because next year they've already announced that Crisis on Infinite Earths is happening, which Elseworlds directly leads into, right?
Yeah.
But I don't understand. It wasn't fully explained why the Monitor was testing the Earths for this coming crisis. What was the point of giving this reality writing book to some random person?
The Monitor in the comics, the whole point is that he is trying to find champions to defend Earth. The
multiverse?
The multiverse. When I guess it's something along the lines of all of the universes coming together. So he needs to have the champions ready to fight. So he's doing this as a test to find who stands out and who's going to be the champions of Earth against the Anti-Monitor.
Right.
Who is like, I guess, his evil twin brother or whatever it is. Like,
right. I don't know. So the ultimate result of Infinite Earths Crisis is that by the end of it all, there is only one Earth.
Yes.
So heroes die in the comics, like a lot of major heroes die. In fact, I believe Supergirl and Flash both died in the comics during this miniseries.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder if next year is like season 7 of Arrow. And I'm wondering if that's the last season of Arrow and if maybe something's going to happen to Oliver during this crisis.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. I mean, it was strongly like he made some sort of a deal with the Monitor because Barry and Supergirl and Kara were both supposed to die in their little time running around the world, the slowing down thing that they did.
Yeah. That
still doesn't make sense to me from a physics point of view. It never has.
Well, they did. I think that was a nod to Superman in the 70s, in the 80s. Like, seriously.
Was, and it didn't make sense when I saw it in the 80s in Superman either. Like, how does running around, it doesn't make sense to me. Just flying around the world really quickly, running around the world really quick, should not have any
impact on time.
Yeah.
The rotation of the Earth does not impact time. Like,
no, like, yeah, it would, you could get the Earth going the other way. It doesn't mean that it's going to be
time goes backwards. Like, no, I know. I hear you. But, yeah, I don't want to go any much further because I really don't want to spoil too much. It was great. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely watch it. There were some great nods to like Smallville, to other properties. It was so well done. Like, it was a love letter to the comics and to fans of previous shows. Yeah. And that's really what this is about, you know.
Another example of how they're doing the TV DC universe so much better than the movie universe.
Oh goodness. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. So before we move on to 7 Degrees of Translation, we want to talk about some of our favorite moments that have happened in 2018 with television and movies. I'll start us off with the big one, the huge one that took 10 years in the making, Avengers Infinity War. You know, I have been for months so excited for Avengers 4, which we now know is called Avengers Endgame.
Yes.
And just reading all the stuff that went on in Infinity War and kind of replaying it all in my mind and wondering where's it going to go. And I'm huge on like just what are the fan theories? What are the theories about what's going to happen next and what did I miss in the movies that maybe leads, because I don't know if you've ever studied it, but there's a lot of tiny little hints thrown into the movies that you will miss.
Absolutely.
That they plan to pick up on.
Yeah, character names, you know, like a random scientist or something like that you see like at the beginning of one episode on a nameplate or something like that who happens to have a huge role in the comics, stuff like that. Yeah,
in fact, today, I like to look at the videos that analyze the trailers and say, here's some stuff you missed from the trailer. Because there's lots of stuff in the trailers that when you watch them, if you don't understand what's going on, you'll easily miss a sign. One of them that I love was at the very end of the Endgame trailer, there's Scott Lang in a monitor saying, hey guys, it's me. Remember me from Germany, right? And he's like, can you let me in? And that's when Steve Rogers looks at the TV and says, is this a recording?
Yeah.
And what's missable is if you pause the video and look at the actual screen that has Scott Lang on it, up in the top left corner, it says archive, which means it is a recording.
Yeah.
And in small print, sort of hardly visible, is a date. And it says 1983. So, what? So Scott Lang, this was recorded in 1983. And the one thing that connects this is in Ant-Man and the Wasp, right at the end before he goes into the quantum realm. Janet Van Dyne says to him, careful not to get sucked into a time vortex. We won't be able to find you if you do.
So does he show up in 1983, record that thing there, and they're seeing it as a recording?
Because in the end credit scene of Ant-Man and the Wasp, he's stuck in the quantum realm. Okay?
Yeah.
So the question is, does he get out? But did he go through a time rift?
Like, did he get out in the wrong...
But he got out in 1984.
Yeah.
So is he, like, somewhere waiting for waiting for today? So this is really interesting. This is like, I did not see that. And
where, what gate is he at? Because that building didn't exist in 1984.
Well, it was a Stark building, right? And they established that in the first Ant-Man, that it was an abandoned Stark storage area. So it could have very well been abandoned, but from below it still looks the same, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, I kind of got off topic there, but Infinity War is huge, and you know, I've been so fascinated with it and reading about what's coming and looking at all the theories about and I love doing that, you know. Yeah, so that was one of the things I've looked forward to, and I was exciting for 2018.
Yeah, for 2018, like for me, like all of the Marvel movies in general, like I mean, you've got, you know, big screen adaptations for like Black Panther.
Yeah.
Was Doctor Strange in 2018? I can't remember.
That was not. No.
All right.
It was Doctor Strange, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Avengers Infinity War.
And Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was last year.
Was Spider-Man Homecoming last year?
Yes.
Oh, well, see, I don't know what year we're in. That's my problem.
2018.
Oh, okay. See, that's the thing. I went through a time vortex.
There are 3 movies a year. February was Black Panther. April was Infinity War. June was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
All right. Well, either way, I'm just glad that we're getting all of these things, some of these smaller heroes, you know, getting their due, getting their shows, so we can sort of see more of that. Crap! Just dropped a drink.
Terribly. Did you spill your drink?
Shh.
All because your phone was vibrating.
Shh. Yeah, I know. Well, I'm just trying to thing here.
Oh man, live show. This is what happens on a live show.
Yeah, you'd think I'd have like a napkin or something in here. I don't.
Okay. Go.
Okay,
go grab something. I don't know, maybe I'll do a song and dance. No, I'm not going to do a song and dance. Brian, you still there? Let's chat for a second. Oh, what'd you find? He found something. What are you using, clothes?
It's a robe.
Oh my gosh, he found a robe.
It's a bathrobe.
Great.
So I mean, it's made out of towel.
It's meant to dry you off anyway.
It is. So yeah.
Well, while you're doing that, I want to say
here we are, live show as I'm rubbing my desk down with a robe. So yeah.
One of the other things that I love this year, we just talked about Elseworlds. I thought it was great. I look forward to the crossover every year for the Arrowverse, but specifically, I was excited for Batwoman because I'm a fan of Batwoman in the comics. She's a newer character, but I love the character. I love the look of the character, and I think they did her really well in Elseworlds. And we didn't see her for very long, but I thought it was a fantastic introduction to the character, and she looks amazing, and I cannot wait to see more.
Yeah, like I'm looking for. I'm really excited for that to get picked up and us to get a season of Batwoman.
Absolutely. The other thing I love that I keep thinking back on all the time was the amazing X-Files parody on Stand Against Evil.
Yeah,
that was a highlight of this season for that show.
Yeah, there was some great episodes, but yeah, that was so much fun just to have that sort of tongue in cheek.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was so good. One thing I'm going to mention, it's really a 2017 thing, but we've never been able to talk about it on this show, is the Orville. And it's coming back, I think, like next week.
Is it that soon?
Yeah, it's coming back very soon, season 2.
I am excited about that. It is so much fun. He does such a fantastic job.
And I'm really excited. See, I think back to 2018, but I thought of Orville. Orville ended, I think, I can't remember did it end in December last year? It's been a year, I think, since it ended. Yeah. But our season 1. But you know what? When it first started, I thought, oh man, this is a comedy Star Trek. But it's really not. This is, I mean, yes, it's got comedy in it, but it's not a parody
that holds its own. It's a parody that holds its own as its own thing. It is a parody of.
No, see, it's not a parody. It is not a parody at all. It is
its own... It's a comedic homage?
It is its own thing. It's very much a Star Trek type show, but with comedic elements. It is not a parody in any way.
I mean, they're
not making fun.
Parody.
They're not making fun of Star Trek, is what I'm saying. That's not a parody.
No, right? But they are, I guess, so it's more of a comedic homage then.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is comedic. But here's what I love about the comedy. The comedy on it really is, what if you took you and me, Tycko, and put us on a starship? We'd be this is awesome. We'd be like, yeah, we'd be having fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way I see it, because the two pilots, and I can't remember their character names, but that's like you putting you and me as pilots of a starship. We'd be goofing off all the time.
I would have just spilled an energy drink onto the console.
And that's actually one of the ongoing jokes in the show.
Yeah.
Right? One of the guys spills cola because he's allowed to have cola on the bridge. But I love the Orville. Whenever the Orville is on, that is like the first thing I want to watch. So I'm excited for it to come back. And that's like, and even though it wasn't 2018, I really wanted to touch on it because it is coming back, I think, next week. So as of next week, I'm speaking future tense. That's one memory of 2018, the Orville.
Just so long as they get that in before the calendar.
That's before the calendar flips, exactly.
It counts. We'll allow it.
All right. I think you have one last thing you want to talk about.
Just the overall, as a fan of TV, and I watch a lot of stuff, as we both know. I'm just glad to be seeing more original content, new content, stuff coming. Like, I just started watching the Sabrina stuff from Netflix.
Okay, yeah. And
I was pleasantly surprised with it. I'm just glad that Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime, everybody's they're trying to build more content for their shows. So we're seeing that with the new DC channel. We're seeing that with Hulu and Amazon and Prime and everybody else, Disney, who's creating entertainment. We're getting the Mandalorians because of this. So all these incoming channels means everybody wants original content, which means we're getting more stuff. So we're getting properties that I don't think on regular network television would have ever been adapted.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I like that. The one downside to this, and this is just my own personal opinion because I don't enjoy this sort of thing, is if you take the Titans, for example, because they're on their own channel, they can do whatever they want. So they have cursing and swearing. right? The
Yes.
F word. And in last week's episode of Titans, with it was the Hank Hall and Don Granger, or basically Hawkman and Dove. Hawk and Dove.
Yeah.
Not Hawkman. Hawk and Dove's origin story. Hawk is literally a potty mouth. I can't count how many times he said the F word in that one episode. Right?
I haven't seen it yet.
And that's a bit of a turnoff for me.
Yeah.
Right? I get you want to be dark and gritty, but does
not
the
even
F
that.
word really do that?
It's edgy. I think that's what it is, and you will see that on some of these channels. But like
I know,
other things that we like, stuff like Stand Against Evil, stuff like that may not get picked up on network television.
Oh, absolutely.
May get a Hulu or Netflix another season because they need the content, they need the exclusive content. So we start to see more of that stuff. Stars does a ton of it as well, like Ash versus the Evil Dead. I'm just so glad that we're getting more content. I myself am not bothered by the swearing. I have a 7-year-old, so I hear it all the time anyways.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean, she goes to public school, so she learns all these words and brings them home and teaches them to Shannon and I.
Okay. Anyway, I won't go there because I have 3 girls as well who don't. Not in my presence, anyway.
I'm kidding. Leah swore. She swore once.
Oh, I know. You told me the story.
And,
it was
Man,
hilarious.
it is so hard as an adult hearing a 7-year-old swear for the first time when she knows she's not supposed to, because she realized she did it.
Well,
she looked like she was like terrified that she was in huge trouble, and it's so hard to just not laugh.
I still think back, and we'll do this before we get to 7 Degrees. This will be the last thing.
Yeah.
I think back to when Sydney was like 3, maybe 4 years old. And she wanted some, I can't remember what it was, but she wanted some truck. She was always a tomboy. She wanted a truck. But when I was little, I always said fruck. When I was my parents were terrified I'd forget the R.
Yeah.
Well, Sydney did forget the R one day when she said she wanted a fruck. But she forgot the R. Of course, she didn't know what... She thought she was saying the word truck. Yeah. But it was so funny. We just started laughing.
Yeah. Well, I remember still Jordan's first time we heard Jordan swear, too. He's like 22 now, so, But the first time we saw... He was at sleepaway camp, and we went for a visit after his first, month there, and he's walking and talking to his friends, and he swore in front of us and then realized that we were there. Because we'd been away from him for so long, he'd just gotten ingrained to doing that around his friends, and just the look of terror on his face,
right,
as he's realized that he just swore in front of his mom, his dad, and his grandparents, was priceless.
All right, well, we've got some 7 Degrees of translation to do, so we'll do that, and then we'll move on to video games. So let's do that. All right. 7 Degrees of translation. Why don't you start us off?
All right, we are both handing out a challenge from our good friend Glenn.
Yes, thank you, Glenn.
Has decided that our offerings are not up to snuff, so he has decided to come
We're not good enough, so he needs to step in. It's absolutely accurate. I mean, that's great. Thanks.
So Glenn has again. This is actually 8 degrees of translation.
Yeah, it turns out that it is 8. Yes, thank you, Glenn.
The one thing we can say, Glenn can't count, but
he's taking it to the next level.
I think what he did, he gave us 7 languages and then back to English. He didn't count English as a language.
English is not a language.
No. All right, so we've got Arabic, Galician, I think it is.
Galician, yeah, something like that.
Japanese, Korean, Portuguese, Swahili, and Turkish. And then for the 8th language, back to English.
That's right, because on the 8th day, God created English.
All right. So they are all themed.
That's right. Mine are themed as well. Good.
So I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you the theme.
No, I'm going to guess your theme.
All right. So number 1, special.
Okay, is this a movie? Is this a game? What is the media?
Well, it is a board game.
A board game?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Special. Well, ain't that special. Ain't that special. You're so special.
think if you just keep saying the word, you think it's going to pop into your head somehow?
Yeah, exactly. If I say it in different accents, right? A board game. And do I know this game?
I would probably, yes.
Oh, good. It's a probably. Well, ain't that special?
I would imagine you know this game.
I don't know, Monopoly?
It is Monopoly.
Are you serious?
It is. Do you
Oh
know
my
Monopoly?
gosh. Yeah, I do know Monopoly.
Okay.
Well, I was right. It's Monopoly?
It's Monopoly.
Well, ain't that special? All right. Mine are... I'm going to say movies.
You're going to say movies? Now,
Yeah.
are they actually movies,
They
or are
are
they
mo-
like something?
No,
Okay.
these are movies.
Okay.
Okay. I will say that the first one is a television movie.
So it's made for TV,
Yeah,
or
made,
it's a
made for TV. Made for
Okay.
TV. Okay.
All right.
And there's also a theme. Okay,
All right.
ready? Ready?
Yeah.
A bright snow player.
A bright.
Snow player.
All right.
Silence. Do,
Yes.
do,
Yeah, it
do,
makes for better
do.
radio when you make fun of the fact that I don't know the answer to this. A bright, and it is a movie.
A made-for-television movie.
It is a made-for-television movie. Can you give me the...
Cartoon.
decade?
I'll give you that.
All right. It is a cartoon made for television. What's it again?
A bright snow player.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Frosty the Snowman. You were close.
Close.
You were
I
close.
was close.
Now, I have to say that when Glenn gave this to me, it was one word. And
Is it Frosty? Because I probably would have gotten if the one word was Frosty.
It was not. It was not. It made absolutely no sense to me what it came out to be. And I'm gonna while we're talking,
Now, just so we're clear, by the way, Frosty is not a cartoon. It is a stop motion.
you're right. I'd still consider that cartoon.
It's not a cartoon. A cartoon is exactly it's a stop motion animated film.
Okay, my apologies.
So I'm going
But
to
wait.
wipe that from the record.
No, wait. You still guessed Rudolph, which is the same thing.
Yeah, I'm aware that
Okay.
I figured out what your ruse was.
Okay. So originally, his translation of this was profit. As in monetary profit.
Oh. Well, okay. Well, that's pretty much every movie.
Right? Okay, sorry.
Actually, that would have been better for Monopoly.
Right? Yeah. Oh, maybe he got them switched up.
No, because I did Monopoly again.
Okay.
That was the one I retested.
Well, ain't that special?
All right, number 2. Guide.
Oh, and is it still a game?
It is still a game.
A board game?
Yes.
Guide. As in, I'm going to lead you. You're going to follow. I'm going to take you somewhere. I'm your leader. I will lead. I will show you the sights.
This is a fun look at the inside of Sean's brain as he deciphers something. You can see
Guide.
the hamster falling off the wheel repeatedly.
A board game. Catan. I don't know. Catan's not
No.
a word.
Clue.
Oh, that actually makes sense.
It does.
All right, fair. Good. All right, next one. This is a movie.
Yep.
This is actually a movie.
Okay, it's an actual movie?
Actual movie, yes. Good Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes. Well done. Good
All
job.
right.
All right, you got... Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, going into this, you're batting a .333.
All right, that's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
a 1 for 3.
There you go.
Not. I don't know why we need the Red Dead thing up there, Sean.
What just happened? Oh,
You just hit a button or something. And
I
we're
must
now
have-
reviewing. All right, folks. So what I think about we're not doing that anymore.
sorry.
No,
I must have hit a button on the wrong screen. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna impromptu review Red Dead Redemption 2 again, but no. All right, your
Sorry
last
about that.
one from Glenn. Life game.
The game of life?
Yes.
Woo!
Glenn, way to not make that one hard for him at all.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Here's one for you. Also a movie,
Yep.
and I think you figured out the theme already.
Yes.
What's the theme?
Is it Christmas movies?
All right. Well, here's a movie called Christmas Holiday.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Yes. Okay. So
Both 2 for 3 today.
you are 2 for. I just pressed a button again. Oh, good thing it didn't switch to Red Dead Redemption though. Okay.
Now, did you figure out your theme?
Well, there were board games.
Yes, but there's a deeper theme.
So there was Clue, the
Yep.
Game of Life, and
Yep.
Monopoly.
Yes.
Clue, Life, and Monopoly. No, what is the theme?
Just classic board games. Classic.
Fair
We
enough.
were looking classic.
Oh my goodness, dude!
I jumped up.
You're batting 500. You're batting 500.
Wow, 2
Yeah.
for 3 brought me up that much.
Yes, you're now 12 out of 24.
Excellent. If
Good
I'd only
job.
guessed Frosty instead of Rudolph.
Right? It's all right. All right, so let's move on from 7 Degrees and let's go back to Couch Co-op. And we're going to talk about video games. So this week I completely finished Assassin's Creed Odyssey, 100% all of the achievements, and I'm anxiously...
The currently available achievements.
And there's still a lot left, but they haven't released the content yet, which
there are
I'm
2
really...
of the Lost Tales of Greece achievements or bits of story that are still coming. And then
plus there's monsters or mythical creatures.
Yeah.
Which haven't appeared yet. And then there's still like 5 chapters of DLC left to be released.
Yes.
Which I'm thoroughly looking forward to. I was playing that game. I think I saved it. I was around the 140-hour mark, and that was 100% completion. So the main game has been platinumed.
Yes.
And then
I loved when you sent me that screenshot of the one missing area that you had been looking for, and you're like, this is a screenshot. And it's like looking at a puzzle with a giant missing piece in the middle. I'm like, how did you not see that?
Right? So I must have spent hours going around to every little island, thinking I must not, because in order to get Hermes Homie achievement, you have to visit every location, or basically unfog every region. You have to unfog the whole map, and that most people are saying you have to step on every island, including the little ones. So I'm going around to every little island, which takes time because you got to use the boat to get out there, right?
Yeah, because there's not fast travel on every one of these islands.
And then I do that, and then I'm going around and I'm collecting I still spent time doing the question marks and finding new locations, doing the camps, and still playing the game. I wasn't just running around. Finally, I just got frustrated. Why am I not finding this one last piece? I look up online, people are saying, here's some missable areas. I'm like, okay, I've been there. It's like, oh, what's that? So I look that place up. I'm like, it's literally in the middle of the mainland. It's north of Sparta, which is in the mainland of Laconia. And it's right there. It's this strip of land in the middle of the mainland that I had never entered. It was literally staring me in the face this whole time.
You probably were like within 2 or 3 steps
at
certain points of the game of stepping over there and unfogging it.
Yes. And I'm thinking
doing other stuff.
I was spending all this time looking around the map, around the water, looking for all these little islands I may not have stepped on.
Yeah.
Instead, it was a strip of land in the main. Oh my gosh, dude, I couldn't believe that was what I missed. It was staring me in the face too.
Yeah, and so now you are 100%. I am also at 100%. So we are at 100%, 200% total.
Excellent. Now I have to admit, I I'm loving the. I cannot wait to play more. I really can't. I wish all the DLC was there now. I just want to play it.
Yeah,
you know?
It's not releasing fast enough. Just make more. Give us the stuff that's supposed to be coming next, and spend the next little bit making more.
We'll have
more afterwards.
I know.
When we finish this, then we'll be good.
I went back after this. I'm like, oh, I got to play something because I still spent a couple of days after that just playing. Because there's still lots of undiscovered locations, and a lot of them are forts, which I enjoy stealthing through and clearing the fort. So I still play it for a couple of days, and then I decided, you know what, let's go back, and I started playing Rise of the Tomb Raider again. And I'm going to be completely honest, this happened to me last year, if you'll remember, when I finished Horizon Zero Dawn. You know, I spent so much time, I loved that game so much, that once I finished it completely, nothing else could hold my interest. Like, I felt like nothing else was good enough, you know? Maybe it was a bit of a burnout, maybe it was like, oh man, I don't really want to play anything else except that other game. Yeah. I feel that way now. I'm finding it difficult to get back into Shadow of the Tomb Raider, even though it's a fantastic game.
It's just, it's a different style of game, and I find the same thing. So we finished the contest the other day.
Your gamer score contest.
My gamer score contest. We were eliminated in the second to last week. So we missed out on the finals. 5 teams go to the finals. We finished in 7th overall.
Wow, nice. Now, who's we? Is like you're on a team?
It's a team. Like there's a solo event which I got knocked out like 30th or something like that in the.
Okay.
Or probably higher than that, 40 something than in the solo event, but it's
like
still pretty good out of like 6,000 people is still pretty good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But there's a team event as well. There was I think just under 1,000 teams to start. We finished 7th overall.
Nice, very well done.
For that, I mean, and there's guys like Stallion 83 has been participating in this. So guys who basically play games for a living. They get paid.
Yeah. They get paid to
do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And some of these guys are absolutely insane. Like, you know, all more power to them. Like they are fantastic. The final week of the team competition, they're like it's like two person teams.
Yeah.
And the totals in the final week, and I haven't checked like the final numbers are, but the teams in the top 5, I think the team that won it put up, I think about close to 150,000 gamer score in a week.
In a week.
Holy
crap. I don't even have that much after, 12 years?
Yeah, like there was absolutely. My brother-in-law, did a lot of the heavy lifting for us getting into some. It's like I put up a few thousand every week, but my brother-in-law did like the heavy lifting. He had the second to last week.
Is he still the OMG hour?
No, okay. That's Leah now.
Oh, good.
that's the one on the main Xbox. No, he has his own gamers, but he put up last week because he was still in the solo side of it as well. He finished in the top 10 of the solo side.
So how much gamer score did you gain overall in this whole contest?
So in this contest, I've got for the year, which is roughly the length of the contest, 198,000 gamer score.
Wow, in 1 year.
In the year.
That's incredible, Tycko.
Yeah.
Like my gamer score, I think, is 86,000, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I think
it was a lot of completed games. I think it's about 125 completed games.
You have 175 in our show notes. Is that
175 correct? is my total. I was at around 50 completed games.
I see.
I have to look up more details of what it is, but it's about 125 completed games in the calendar year.
Now, this contest was done through Trueachievements.
Through Trueachievements, they do this every year. It's I can't remember what the whole thing. It's a GTA SC. I can't remember. It's the whole achievement contest. So they do this every year. Different team sizes. Last year that it was 4-person teams and a solo side and stuff like that. And I participated a little bit last year. Played, had fun with it last year.
Will you do it again next year?
I will do it again next year. I don't expect to be able to be anywhere close to as good. I do find like coming out of that contest, that burnout that you're talking about.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can imagine.
And particularly when you do spend a lot of time just playing to like, okay, I'm going to play this stuff just to get some achievements. So you're grinding through.
You don't get to enjoy it.
you don't really get to enjoy it as much, and that's why like Assassin's Creed was fantastic because I was getting the achievements. They were popping on a fairly regular basis. But I just really enjoyed that sort of escape into that for a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
I find like I've actually this week here, so Assassin's Creed is done, so I'm just waiting for some DLC. And as you know, last week I played Just Cause 4.
Yeah.
Which was okay, but didn't really love it. I tried getting back into that, and I really couldn't get back into it. It's like just the I don't know what you have to do. Like it doesn't have that fun in it then anymore.
That's what you're saying.
I went back to Just Cause 3.
Okay.
So I've been playing that as my sort of I'm watching TV and stuff, like volumes off because I know the story already. And I'm just going and blowing things up and shooting across. So that's what I've been playing pretty much all week. A few new things here or there, but nothing worthwhile to speak about.
So you've kind of already started off our discussion about memorable things from 2018 with your gamer score. Like, that's huge. 198, almost 200,000 gamer score games.
Listen, I've got another 2 weeks.
That's true.
So I will
1,000 a week.
It'll be at 200,000 in the calendar year.
So we both talked about completing Odyssey, and just looking forward to more. Like, honestly, it's a fantastic game that I loved being. I love the character. I love the character of Cassandra. I played as Cassandra through the whole thing. I just love the character, and I love the outfits to get for her. The one I ended up going back to ever since getting it was the Amazonian armor. Because basically it's the Wonder Woman set, and it's amazing. It's like, I got a new set playing the DLC. I played it for a little bit. It was basically the Persian armor, almost made her look like Prince of Persia. But I'm like, nah, I need to go back to the Amazonian set. It just looks awesome on her as Wonder Woman, right? And I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I've got Wonder Woman poster in the back now, which is a new addition to my
You can
my
just
theater.
read the Wonder part at the bottom there.
So, I like Wonder Woman, and I thought it was a great movie. And just seeing Cassandra kind of traipsing through looking like Wonder Woman was awesome. One of the biggest things when I think back to 2018, one of my biggest memories is when playing God of War, and I'm going to play the clip here, playing God of War, and I actually defeat a dragon for the first time. It was an epic battle, but it really shows sort of this epicness that is God of War. And it's one of the few times where you have to kind of mash buttons just at certain times, but it's not quick time events like all the other God of Wars were. But just taking down this dragon in this epic CGI interactive battle was incredible, and I couldn't help but sit back and have this huge giddy smile on my face when this happens. He falls to the ground, and the dragon just drops, and his mouth just drops around him, and he's
on either side.
Side, and he's just standing there like nothing just happened. It was so unbelievably epic, and like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just incredible, absolutely incredible. I could not believe it happened. And I cannot, I can't help but think of that exact moment every time I think of 2018, because and the game is full of those moments.
Yeah, I've got to play more of that. I do have to put some more time and effort into that game. And again, once as we get into the holidays, I've got some time off, so I'm going to be able to do some gaming and sitting around and actually relaxing. Yeah.
Betrayal Legacy. That's a huge.
That was so much fun. Like, I mean, I so want to get back into that and get that group back together.
Next
weekend.
Next weekend, we're playing again.
Yeah, we're playing pretty soon. It was so much fun to do. Like, they did such a great job with that. That game is so much fun with the way it tells a story, and
we all had fun playing. Like, we were joking around and laughing and carrying on. It was a great time. Like, it was a great evening of just fun, playing this game and just seeing the stuff get added into the legacy and the lore. And it's a great addition to the legacy games. You know, I love legacy games, but Betrayal was huge in my 2018. You know, just thinking back to that game,
it was big. It does such a great job of the storytelling. It pulls you in. It is fun. It gives you a story, but lets you build on the story. On your own too.
Lets you build your own story, really, right?
Yeah.
Because you're building your own family of characters as you play.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
It's just a fun game, and it was a really good time. I'm looking forward to playing a couple more chapters in a week or so.
One other thing that I love thinking back to this year, a highlight of 2018 was Detroit Become Human. And while the game itself was great and really well done, what really stands out for me, and very much similar to a few years ago when I played Until Dawn and sharing that with my daughter, was being able to talk to friends who had also played the game and realize how different our games were. Like, I had experienced storylines that Miranda never did, for example.
Yeah.
She didn't even know that was a possibility, you know? And it's just amazing to me how different our playthroughs could be in the same game. And it's just a testament to how well Quantic Dreams tells a story and allows the player to choose their own story.
Yeah. And that's one that I am actually looking forward to. Like, I'm going to pick that up. I know I saw that there was some Black Friday deals on it, so I'm actually waiting to see if there's going to be a Boxing Day sale. I think I saw it.
There is a set coming out, I believe, with all of their games in one collection. So Heavy Rain.
I don't need all of the games. I just want.
I
just want that. Now I saw there was at Black Friday there it was on for $19 at Target in the States. Obviously, I couldn't make it down there for that, so I'm hoping that we see some similar sales
for Boxing
here
Day.
For Boxing Day. So I'm hoping to grab that, at that point and give that a try, because it is one that I'm interested in, but I know that that's one of those ones that'll have a price drop at some point. Yeah,
for sure. I'm kind of hoping that we get the same sale that they got at Black Friday for Diablo 3 on Switch.
Yes,
that's what I'm hoping for.
Because they had a ridiculous. It was $19. It
was $20 for exactly.
Now I don't know if that was an error, but I mean, if that's the case, I'll take another shot down there and hopefully to find that.
Yeah, exactly. I think we only got a few minutes left. I want to talk about Sea of Thieves because we spent, and this kind of takes me back to Sid Bolton. You know, of course, we lost our friend Sid this year. Which we'll never forget. But playing Sea of Thieves with Sid.
Yeah.
You know, we had an amazing time, the four of us, you, me, Jeff, and Sid.
Yeah.
We played it for a couple of hours. And even Sid and I had... I told the story a while back about how he and I were playing. And we're just checking out the game. We're having fun. And I'm shooting things. So I turn and I see this barrel. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what happens. So I shoot the barrel. But just as I hit the trigger, Sid walks in front of it. And the barrel blows up and kills him. But then later in the night, not even intending to, the roles were reversed. Exactly the same thing happened. He went to shoot a barrel, and just as he pulled the trigger, I walked in front of it.
And exploded.
And it exploded, and it was like sweet, sweet revenge on his part.
Yeah.
You know, so I think back to that was the last time we got to play with Sid.
Yeah.
You know, because I think it was literally a month later that he died.
Yeah.
So I really think back to Sea of Thieves, and every time I think of Sea of Thieves, I think of Sid.
Yeah. Like just all of us getting together on that game. I mean, there was a lot of connection issues when we were first trying to do that. Like, so the fact that
you didn't even have voice.
I didn't have voice, so I think I was calling in on my phone to chat. Like, I was using the voice option on my phone to call in and so we could have a conversation. Just the fact that we were all able to get on and play that game together for a few hours, and it was fun. It was fun to do. It was. I mean, I'm glad that they're doing more games like that, more co-op.
Yeah.
Experiences like that, and I'd like to do more of that. I obviously need to get a better headset.
Yes. Right? And I need to play more Xbox.
You do. Or Sony and Microsoft, and Nintendo all need to, get those three guys back together.
Yeah, right?
And just let us play stuff regardless of...
Exactly. That's my dream. Console. That is my dream. You have one last thing you want to talk about that you remember fondly about 2018?
I do?
Yeah, right there in
the last line.
The
there,
last line. Right there in your notes.
Well, no,
You typed it.
I know I did. I didn't know we were going to have to talk about everything we typed. All right, fine. No, I was just Game Pass on Xbox in the last month has gotten significantly better.
Huge. Like it's getting a lot of new games on day one.
Yeah, Below just came out today.
Yeah.
On Xbox on Game Pass.
And last week there was a game last week, and there's another one. Ashen was last week.
Ashen and the Kingdom 2 Crowns were both last week.
And next week is something else.
Yeah, and then Mutant Year Zero and The Garden Between, all in the last month, dropped on there. And these are some really solid games.
So you're getting your money's worth. Like what is it? 15 Canadian a month?
I think it's about 14 and change Canadian, I think it is.
Is there an annual fee where you can save money? Or
they do not have that yet.
That's interesting.
It's only a monthly thing right now, and I'm not sure. I think you can, but you have to, it's a whole thing. Like, I think there's a few people have taken advantage of. You get the Xbox and a year of Game Pass and a year of Live for...
That's not in Canada yet.
No, that's not in Canada yet.
No, but JJ Mahoney did that. He got an Xbox One X.
Yeah.
And I think 2 years, if I'm correct... 2 years of Game Pass, and he pays $35 a month or $30 a month or something like that.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. For what they're giving you. I know we have Crackdown 3 eventually, possibly coming to the Xbox.
Yeah, maybe
at some point in the year 2018 to 2030 something, somewhere in that range.
Yeah,
but. I mean that's all in good. Like, these AAA titles and stuff like that. Like, we know we're getting a Gears of War on there. We know we're getting all the Microsoft first parties. Like, we had Forza come out, so we know we're getting some of that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm really impressed with how they're adding these smaller, these indie titles.
It is getting to become a great service.
Yeah.
And if I played Xbox like you do, like if it was my main system, I would absolutely subscribe to it. And because it's getting that good.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I'm actually recommending it to, like, anybody who's picking up. Like, I have my nephew who's on Xbox now, and I told my sister, I said, you pick up Game Pass. Like,
absolutely.
It's $15 a month, and he's going to get access to 100+ games. Maybe he's not going to want to play all of them, but it's a good value.
Still a huge library for someone starting.
When you're adding somebody into a new ecosystem like that, it is a great start.
For sure. With
a huge library of games, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to get a bunch of games to play. So I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy to see these indies coming out. So everything that we see at PAX now will eventually probably show up on Game Pass, which makes me happy.
Yeah, that's cool. So before we log out, a couple of listeners told us what their favorite moments from the year was, and Larry, Blue Man Roll, says, when Kratos returns to the house and pops the trunk. And this is a great moment in that game as well, where you finally get his old weapons back from the original game, and his chain things. It's like halfway through the game, you end up getting, because he's been using an axe this whole time, right? And finally, you get new weapons, and it's the old chain weapons, and it was sort of like, it brings back the nostalgia. It really grounds that character into, this is Kratos, even from the old games. And then Anthony, Tin Pan Alley, he says, and I'm going to try to word this in a way that doesn't give anything away. Alexios and Cassandra's future adventures, trying not to give anything away, but at the end of one of the major plot points in the game, we see Alexios and Cassandra where we never expected to see them.
Yeah.
And it was epic. It was so well done. Like, seriously.
Yeah, it's play through it and get to that spot. I think your spoiler, thing, we start talking about that by February.
Yeah, I was just going to say
2019.
February. Yeah.
February 2019. All spoilers off the table. We will start talking about that in further detail.
It's
so
great.
If you have not made it to there by then, that's on you.
Yes. It is the and this isn't a spoiler, because if you haven't been spoiled by this yet, because one of the DLCs is named after this, it's the end of the Atlantis storyline. I'll just say that. and it was brilliant. I loved it. I could not believe what I was seeing, but it was exciting. Like, seriously amazing. And I agree with Anthony that that was definitely a moment in that game to remember for a long time. And that pretty much brings us to the end of episode number 312 today on December 14th, 2018. Tycko, you have to let us out.
Well, you know what this means. I'm going to, say, I'm going to read the stuff because I can't remember my parts. Oh, the show. It's on Twitter. Did you know that, Sean?
It is?
It is.
Where do I go, Tycko, to find us on Twitter?
The @ the OMG hour.
Wow. That is amazing.
amazing.
I should go to Twitter right now and subscribe to that channel.
You're recording a show. Wait till after.
All right.
Then do it.
I will follow the show on Twitter.
All right. And then you can also like and subscribe and comment on the show.
How do I do that, Tycko?
You've stumped me. I don't really know exactly how to do that. I know there's a button with a thumb.
Press the thumbs up button.
That's the like button.
Subscribe. Press the subscribe button.
Yep, there's a button that says subscribe, and then there's a
type words in the comment section. I will expect somebody to actually make a comment that says
somebody must do that.
Words. I want the comment to just be words.
Words with an S and an exclamation point.
Or a Z. Whichever you choose. I will not.
All right.
I will not box you in to your words. Oh.
Yeah, but
and who are you, Tycko?
Yeah, I was going. No, I'm
who
reading
are you?
that.
Tycko.
I'm reading.
Tycko.
I am Mr. Second Place. You can follow me at Mr. Second Place on Twitter. You can like and subscribe to me as well.
That would just be boring.
And comment.
Well, you can do the same for me. I am Ziantane, and that is XiantaYne. In fact, I am Ziantane everywhere. You can check us out on YouTube. Did you know we were on YouTube, Tycko?
I did. There's a spot to subscribe.
Yeah, right. And that is youtube.com/OMGNexus. Send us your 7 degrees of 7. Okay, that's 7, not 8, Glenn.
Actually, I want to see who can come up with the highest number of translations.
My gosh.
Like 200 degrees of translations.
Wow.
Just go through the whole thing, spend from now until the next show just translating something and send it to us, and we probably won't use it on the show.
We would actually, because that
we probably would, but it'll be
epic.
One of those ones that that'll be one of those ones that turns into the same thing either way after 200 things.
It'll be profit.
Yes.
Send us your 7 degrees of translation like Glenn did, and you can stump us or not. So that is it for episode 312. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for watching. We will be back next week with our year-end show, and we'll talk about all of our favorite games from 2018.
Bye, guys.
This has been an OMGNexus.com production.